Coming to you live as fuck on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcast. It's the Sons of Honarchy podcast with your host, Steve-O at Drunk Shy Sox Fan on Twitter. There is no hot take Tommy this week. He is out. I got a special guest with me. He's going to introduce himself in a second, but make sure you rate, subscribe, review to the Sons of Honarchy podcast, wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are your favorite 4-star podcast. With that, our special guest this week, the one, the only, Cary at That Baseball Fan.
What's going on, Steve? And technically, it's That Base By Fan. Because I have my.
Remind me, how did you? I don't even remember what you did to get yourself kicked off Twitter. Was it Busby?
Yeah, it was.
Oh no wonder you told me not to fuck with him.
Yeah, that's why I was like, just don't even. But yeah, excited to be here. I think this is my third time on your guys' show now, but this is my first time hosting it with you and that wannabe loser. No, he's not a loser. I love Tommy, but Tommy's out, and I kind of wish he was here because it's so much fun talking shit to him. But if it's however long we're on of just going back and forth with you, I can do that too. And I know our boy A-Rude's going to appreciate me going in on some of the topics with you, especially Abreu. So shouts to him. But yeah, I'm excited to be on the Suns podcast. Been listening to you guys for, I think since you guys started this thing, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago. So, and I've actually become friends with you outside of Sox Twitter. So it's kind of funny. So yeah, we got a lot of topics, so let's get the show on the road here.
Absolutely. Usually we open up by talking about, our weeks, Cary, but I think we got so much fucking White Sox baseball talk to get through that I'm just going to cut the bullshit. I've got Hasbulla back in the picture this week again, and I thought he was going to get removed here on YouTube. He is my background, and he's also in your background, Cary.
Yeah, lucky enough I had a cutout of him, so I was like, perfect.
It's a beautiful, probably life-size cutout of Hasbulla, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It literally is life-size.
1-to-1 scale. Well, the White Sox still have a losing record, Cary. Who do you want to point the finger at first?
I mean, I think my answer being in some group chats with me, but it doesn't start with Jerry. Okay, I know Jerry's cheap, and we all know his faults, okay? But look at the payroll right now. Okay, we're touching $200 million for the first time, I think, in my life. This falls on one man and one man only, and that's Rick Hahn. Okay,
this is a hot take on the Sons of Honarchy podcast.
It is. I mean, you can blame Tony La Russa all you want, but it's funny because pre Tony La Russa, everything was managers don't they don't matter, right? That's all I used to hear. And don't get me wrong. Tony makes a lot of mistakes, okay? And I think the game's gone past him, and that's a whole different thing. The players like him, cool. But this falls on Rick Hahn. You have a $200 million roster, right? With no, Luis Roberts on his path to be a superstar, but you don't have a true guy that, like a Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, Zach Wheeler, like all these guys they've been trying to go after, they're not on the team, and this is that result is you're 15-16 in a championship year. So I think this falls on Rick Hahn, just not augmenting, like he used to say, the roster correctly.
No, I gotta give you credit where credit's due. I absolutely agree with that. I think it's been extremely rough thinking about what Rick Hahn has done with this payroll. The amount that he spent on relief pitching is absolutely insane. It's beyond anything I have ever seen in my entire life. Especially considering this is your beginning of the year payroll, not somebody that you traded for.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't just get a bunch of guys, bunch of big contracts late. Craig Kimbrell trade. As much as you want to say you hated Nick Madrigal, Cary, I don't know how I feel about that trade. I mean, you basically had him for half a year, and now you've got AJ Pollock, who's a guy that we're going to talk more about in just a minute too.
Mm-hmm.
But geez, let's run through these games this past week, starting with the 12-9 nightmare that was Monday night.
What's left there to say? I mean, blunder after blunder. I mean, that was the Gavin Sheets error, right?
The Gavin Sheets error in the first inning,
so,
and 4 errors in total in that game.
And the reason why I bring that up is, my girlfriend, she's a Cub fan, reluctantly, and her best friend is a Mets fan, okay, and texts me out of the blue a Gavin Sheets highlight missing the ball yesterday and goes, "Did you see this the other day?" And I'm like, what do you think? Of course. So it's bad when like a casual Mets fan is texting me about a Gavin Sheets error. I'm like, what are we doing here? So
I mean, the defense has been atrocious. Like mm-hmm. On paper, we were a bad defensive team to begin with. And that's why your high strikeout guys in the rotation and in the bullpen are so important.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it's atrocious defense. I mean, does that fall on the manager?
No, I don't think that falls on the manager. I'm going to go back to my original point is it's Rick Hahn. You have a bunch of first basemen, playing the outfield, left and right field. You literally had an outfield, I think that game, or no, it wasn't that game because I think Andrew Vaughn was still hurt, but you've seen an outfield with Gavin Sheets in right and Andrew Vaughn in left. You have 2 first basemen playing in the outfield. What do you think's going to happen with your defense with, Tim Anderson not playing well either at short? This is the result of all this, right? So I don't know if this necessarily falls on Tony. I mean, maybe they could be positioning their players a little bit better, but I don't even know if that's the case right now. I think they're just not a good defensive team at all.
I mean, they were all 4 of those errors were not exactly tough plays either.
No. I could have made that Gavin Sheets catch.
Yeah. I can't get over how bad the defense has really been. And I know that all in all, run production is a little bit more important than going out there and, playing solid defense, but it's atrocious. I mean, I think Tony's really got to, I think there was a lot riding on Tony last year. Him getting hired, the DUI stuff coming out, his ass was on the hot seat from day one.
Yeah.
Now I think after a solid season last year, especially regular season in particular, the pressure's a little bit off of him. And now I think people got to start riding Tony a little bit more. They got to say, hey, if you're the manager of this team and you actually have a stake in this clubhouse, if you want to prove to us that these guys are going to rally around you, then make it happen. Mm-hmm. Make it happen, because this team lacks, and I know you can't measure this team lacks energy. They look like they don't want to be there to win.
You're right.
And I think a lot of that falls on Tony.
You're right. I've talked to a lot of people on Sox Twitter, at games, just everywhere else, and people are saying the same thing. They just don't look like they, want to win like they did last year. Last year it was more fun because it was like, okay, this is like the first year we have fans, and the first year this team is assembled. We just got Lance Lynn, it was exciting, right? I mean, you were bringing up players, who's going to be Luis Roberts' first year in front of everybody. And, besides the whole Eloy thing and, when they did the jersey thing like he was dead, that still gets me to this day.
Oh, yeah.
It was different than this year where it was like, okay, and I don't know, I can't speak for the players, but, if I were to be if I was on the White Sox team and I had the year that the Sox did last year and the salty taste where you lost in the first round and you didn't just lose, you got embarrassed, right? Like you needed Larry Garcia to propel you to win. That's how you know it was bad. If I'm a Sox player and I see what Herb, who just commented, I think, calls Rick Teflon Rick, right? Doesn't he call him Teflon Rick?
Teflon Rick.
He is Teflon Rick. If I'm a player, Tony's one thing, but if you see that Rick Hahn's augmented this team with Josh Harris. I like Josh Harrison, okay, but like I like other players a lot more, right? You know, you get AJ Pollock, who, don't get me wrong, I like that trade, and I think AJ Pollock's going to be fine, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But, you know, they didn't do enough. You got rid of Carlos Rodon. You brought in Vince Velasquez and a panic move with Johnny Cueto. And what are you doing, Rick? Like, go get Sean Manaea. Go give up whoever. Like, this is your time to win. Who cares about Colson Montgomery or you know, like, I don't care about those players right now. We've been waiting 5 to 6 years to win for now, and he didn't. I just don't think he did enough. And I mean, there's still time where he can, but what are you gonna do? I mean, then is Josh Harrison a sunk cost? You know, I mean, you can't get rid of Pollock because he's on an option. So what are you gonna do?
Well, since we're talking about sunk costs, I want to talk about the biggest, what seems like sunk cost, and that's Dallas Keuchel. I knew this was a bad contract to begin with. I thought we were going to get maybe 2 good years out of him, and we got, a 60-game season of him being good. So what are we thinking about Dallas Keuchel? What should the White Sox do? It's a lot of money wrapped up in one guy right now, and he's been awful. Like, one of your highest paid players is literally one of your worst players. So talk me through that one. What should they do?
You know, the easy answer is just to say DFA him, but then you look at what's the option, right? And your option is Johnny Cueto right now. Lance Lynn's still hurt. He comes back, but you've seen this team already as a revolving door when it comes to injuries, right? Lucas Giolito's on the COVID list, you know, thanks to Jordan Miller. You know, and you got, you know, Lance Lynn's on the IL, and you don't know what's going to happen, right? Kopech seems to be on an innings limit. So you can just get rid of Dallas and say that's the easy thing to do, but what are you left with, right? I mean, and Luke actually just brings up a good point here, which is, I'm glad he just did, because we were talking about that before the show started. Is just, you know, Cueto can choose tomorrow if he doesn't even want to be here. Yep. Right? He can just say, thanks for the rehab, and not rehab, just thanks for ramping me up. I'm going to go to a different team now and pitch for them and start for them, right? He could do that tomorrow, and we're left with Dallas Keuchel. So once again, Rick Hahn has just not put the Sox in a good position, and you're stuck with Dallas Keuchel and his negative 0.1 WAR right now, according to Fangraphs, and just horrible. That's just my opinion.
Yep, I mean, and pitcher WAR isn't everything, but that's really bad for a starter.
You're right.
That's really bad for a starter
just to be in the negatives for a starter, like, and how WAR is kind of skewed more for starters to do a little bit better. Like, the fact Dallas Keuchel was not negative WAR last year just shows you, but the fact that he is now tells you how bad he has been. So just another good move by. I mean, I was excited at the time. Don't get me wrong. It was a move that said, "Hey, we're getting more serious about winning," right? But he's been just horrid. And so my original answer to your question is, you can't get rid of him. You have to just keep him.
You have to keep him, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, you're stuck.
But I mean, this is the time. This is the time to win, in my opinion. I mean, I know he's still there on the books, but I think you absolutely sever your ties. It's sunk cost. You let it go. You let him go, and then you give Johnny Cueto a chance. I mean, I don't think Johnny Cueto is going to be the solution to all your problems. I don't think he's going to be pitching Dallas Keuchel 2020 numbers during the shortened season. But I think he's going to be a suitable 5, because right now, Keuchel and Vince Velasquez are not going to cut it for you. If I see Vince Velasquez start a postseason game, I'm going to shit myself, because he's not good enough to do that. And last night was like the perfect example of that. He went out on the mound and just didn't have it. He goes up against an elite lineup, and he just doesn't have it. And I know he pitched well against the Angels, but the weather was in his favor. The weather was cold. The ball was not traveling the way it was. Some months are upon us. Vince Velasquez is not good.
No, and that just keeps on going with the point of you got rid of Carlos Rodon. You didn't even offer him the quality. I mean, the qualifying offer. And I get them not wanting to retain him. Okay, I was one of those people that said, the guy just gets hurt. And don't get me wrong, he's on a great start right now, and he did this last year. But I want to see what he can do in September, and he'll probably prove us all wrong because that's just what happens to guys when they leave the White Sox, right? They actually are good, and you got Vince Velasquez instead. This is why you're 15-16, right? You get a Sean Manaea instead, and maybe we have 2 extra wins. I mean, he's pitched well, decently, but this is why the Sox are in the spot that they are now because of the offseason they had. I mean, but to also answer your question, and I agree with you, Johnny Cueto had a much better year. I mean, his ERA plus was 101 last year when Dallas was 82. So I would rather have Cueto. I mean, he seems to be a better option, but what do you do with Dallas? I mean, you could get rid of Tanner Banks and make Dallas Keuchel your reliever.
Honestly, if you want to keep him, I would honestly be okay with that. I would honestly be okay with that.
I mean, I'd rather have Dallas Keuchel than Tanner Banks.
I think Tanner Banks is # ungood as well.
Ungood. Very not good. That's why it's so funny that he's on a championship team this year, Tanner Banks. So
yeah. Well, here's and our guy here, Sammy Davis Jr. in the comment section here saying that he had a poo-poo that breached the water. I want to talk about how the White Sox have looked like poo-poo the last couple games against the Yankees.
Against the good team.
Well, exactly. Are we on high alert, or is this an extremely hot Yankees team that might be the best team in baseball?
I mean, they're 23-8, 24-8, I think now.
Yeah, they've won 17 of their last 19.
Yeah, this is a hot team. Don't get me wrong. We saw what they did last year. They choked, right? We all saw that. So I'm curious to see what that team does later on in the year because they don't have pitching, right? We all know what happens with pitching. It starts hot. The teams with the real pitching stay afloat by the end, right? And I'll give it to the Sox. They did that last year. The starting pitching was good last year, right? But the Yankees just don't have good starting pitching. I mean, after Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez.
I was going to say,
is he going to be as good as he is now? Jordan Montgomery.
Nasty Nestor. Montgomery.
Severino's good, but is he healthy enough
to
pitch a whole season, right? Is he on an innings limit? So there's a lot of questions with them, but, and Stanton's not on the IL yet, which he will be, I think we just caught them at a horrible time. But I also think the Sox they don't beat good teams.
Well, yeah. I mean, but then again, are the Rays decent? Are the Angels a good team? Yeah. I mean, they took 2 out of 4 from the Angels.
But again, with them, they're pitching. Is Syndergaard going to pitch a whole year? Is Reed Detmer's good?
Right.
After Shohei, who do they have?
Yeah. I mean, the Yankees are what? Are they completely healthy right now? It sure seems like it.
Yeah.
And they're missing absolutely no one. Mm-hmm. Who knows how good they're going to be down the stretch? I mean, they're not going to be winning 17 out of 19 3 different times this year. So, yeah, I think we caught them at a really bad time. I still do think, especially when they're healthy, I would say they're the best team in baseball, even with the pitching. I think Garrett Cole is good. Nasty Nestor is nasty. If the Yankees can score runs for Montgomery, he's not bad. So I'm not freaking out totally yet about the White Sox and them facing against, them going up against the Yankees at this time sucks. But there's a lot of things still to figure out. I'm worried about the starting rotation. And I'm worried about a couple veterans that we've got that have not been good. The first one, before I get you really going, I do want to talk about AJ Pollock. He's been like an automatic out. Are you worried about AJ Pollock at all?
I'm not worried about AJ Pollock one bit. That's a Major League Baseball player. He's shown to do this, and if you look back at tweets, from like Dodgers Twitter too, and just not yet, Zach.
No nudity yet.
No nudity yet.
This is why you tune in live on YouTube.
Yes, exactly. I just got distracted. What was the question again?
Are you worried about AJ Pollock?
Yeah, okay. Sorry, the nudity thing got me here. So AJ Pollock, no, I'm not worried. Like I said, he's a Major League Baseball player. If you look around like Dodgers Twitter and then just like at his game logs from last year and the past couple of years, he historically does not start out well one bit. And you've seen recently he's starting to hit a little bit, right? Like it's coming in little spurts. I think by, June, July, in the dog days of summer, they say, he'll be fine. He'll be hitting just fine. I don't think he's what we have to worry about. I think Josh Harrison I think he'll even be fine. But Pollock, I'm really not even worried, but the Sox still need another bat. Like it's scary to say that too. So, and we're going to talk about Gavin Sheets because he's dog poo-poo. So, yeah.
All right. Well,
so yeah, I'm not worried about Pollock.
You're saying they need another bat, but where is Jose Abreu in all of this mix? What is going on?
I knew that was the next thing coming up here. So that's your guy, though, right? That's your king, Steve.
Of course it is.
I'll never forget that when you shit on that man. And that same day, I think he went like 3 for 4 with like 2 homers and made like 2 amazing plays at first. And everybody, that's when it just like took off from there with, shitting on you about Abreu.
Of course.
Every year, I think every Sox fan's asking the same thing. And I think you're worried about this too, is this the year Jose doesn't come out of his shell when the weather starts, getting nice, right? This is what he does. He is not good in April, early May. He is good in June, July, August, September. Look at his historical numbers. I mean, the guy will hit like 220, and I'm not just saying that about batting average, but like you just see his trajectory and how every month it goes higher when the season does, go on. But I've never seen Jose Abreu in an 0 for 19 or something like that stretch. I mean, that's why I'm asking myself, is this the year that Jose doesn't come out of that? I mean, we saw that with Paulie. I mean, I love Paulie, but we saw that one year when it was just like, oh, this is bad. He is not the same person he was. Is that this year? I don't know.
Right. I mean, he looks a little lost at the plate, and I know he heats up as the weather heats up. It's kind of like the same situation with AJ Pollock. I know specifically, I don't know Jose Abreu's splits, but I know historically AJ Pollock in his career in June and July, thanks to Alex Rude for this stat, 140 OPS plus for weighted runs created plus 140 in the months of June and July. So not worried. I mean, Pollock for sure is going to figure it out. I am worried this is the year of Jose Abreu. Just,
that's a bold statement.
Being that OPS plus of like 80, 85, the ball is dead. Thanks, Rob Manfred, for fucking that up. And Jose's what now? 34 years old, 35 years old. Okay. I would agree with our guy Kirk here in the comments. He looks a little aged, perhaps. And it's also showing in the field. He has not been great defensively this year. He had his upswing in defense the last couple years, and now it's dropped back down if you look at the advanced statistics. So I have some worry about Jose Abreu, and I'm waiting for somebody to rain down on me later, when he starts raking in August and September. But just way too many bad plate appearances. And every time he comes up to the plate, I'm like, it's going to be a ground out. It's going to be a ground out. He hits the ball so hard. He has top-notch exit velocity when he's hitting the baseball, but he's pounding it into the ground. And I don't know where Frank Menechino is in this mix, but somebody's got to fix it. And I don't know if Frank Menachino's the guy to do it because, just make contact, hit 300.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we're talking about, right? I mean, I'm looking at his OPS plus and everything last year by month. It was 97, May 193, June he was bad again, but then July, August, September he was an OPS plus of 126, 180, and 105. So that goes along with, I mean, his on base percentage in those months is way higher. His batting average, I mean, it goes along with what we're saying. Is this the year though that it doesn't happen?
And I absolutely agree with our guy, Sammy Davis.
Yeah, no, it's like Jose Contreras.
Comments.
When he was on the Sox, it was like, I think he was 50.
Yeah, exactly. 50, Jose Abreu is really not 35. Yeah, he is
27.
He is that guy from he's got to be like 45. He's that guy from the bench warmers with the fake birth certificate and crayon. Yeah. I am 12. Yeah, exactly. I am 12.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll see. I mean, this could be the year, but we've been saying that for a long time. So I don't know if he's cooked just yet. I mean, I've seen Nelson Cruz crush the ball as a 42-year-old, Yep. We'll see. Jury's out for that, but I don't think this is the year just yet.
For sure. I mean, and Nelson Cruz has fallen off too this year.
Oh, he's horrible this year.
He's
43, right? I mean,
he's missing his personal chef apparently, or something like that. That's what I heard.
Yeah, you serious?
That I guess that's what Jordan Miller told me, but Jordan Miller also killed Tupac, so you can't trust him.
Mm-hmm. And he gave Lucas Giolito COVID.
Yeah, also true. Everybody's injured because of Jordan Miller. Yeah. Also, I took this man to a game. I took him to the game on Thursday. Loss. Of course, the White Sox lose the day I take Jordan
and he wore 2 belts.
How do you wear 2 belts? How do you put on 2 different belts? Have you ever done that, Cary? I've never put on 2 different belts.
I don't even wear a belt hardly because I'm a fat guy, so it doesn't feel right.
You're bad for that. You're bad for that. No, here's the thing with Jordan. He's got to graduate from the cloth belt stage. Okay, I wore cloth belts at one point too when I was 18. 18.
Yeah, I wore them in like early 2000.
Yeah. I know, seriously. Which I guess early 2000s for you, Cary, was like when I was in elementary school, you old fuck. But
okay.
Oh, you're staring me down there. You're like, keep talking shit. Keep talking.
That's all right. I'm just wiser. So
exactly.
I mean, I actually got the nice thing is I got to enjoy a World Series,
Yeah, I know.
That's what I do feel bad for Sox fans that were like too young for 05 because you've just seen misery, just complete and utter failure too. You haven't seen that one glorious year where like, and like, what is it like a heroin addict? They do it one time and they want that satisfaction again. I feel like that's how all Sox fans are, that we're actually able to enjoy 05. They're like, oh, I need that again, and you just stick around for that feeling and then it's just you're like addicted. That's how I feel, at least. So
no, I mean, I couldn't imagine. How are there White Sox fans? If there are White Sox fans, I don't know any. Are there any that have been born past the year 2000? Like, if you're born in 2000 or later, I don't know how you could ever be a White Sox fan because it's just been awful.
For being a Bears fan.
Also true. Well, God.
Yeah, I know. That's a different story.
Yeah, the Bears just give me pain and misery. I don't even want to talk about them. I'm already in a rough enough mood because of how the White Sox.
Yeah, exactly.
The past couple days. So Gavin Sheets. You brought up Gavin Sheets earlier. We said we were going to talk about Gavin Sheets. You're already shaking your head no, Cary. What if I told you Gavin Sheets now has an OPS plus over 100?
I would say, what is it against lefties?
Oh, probably atrocious.
And I would also say, what's his on-base percentage, right? Like, don't get me wrong, the OPS plus is nice, right? But the guy doesn't do anything else good, man. He can't field. Strikes out a ton. But I feel like he's a version of Zach Collins, which Zach Collins is a D- player. You get what I'm saying? So to be that version is not good, right? I mean, he's a 3 outcome player, and it's home run, strikeout, or pop up to second base. That's Gavin Sheets.
I mean, he's Adam Dunn in a
Adam
actually,
Dunn.
I don't know if he I don't know if he I don't know if he walks as much as Adam Dunn did, at least in his peak years.
I would rather take Adam Dunn than Gavin Sheets right now, and that is a horrible statement that I am making, and I hate that I'm saying that because I remember being excited for that guy in college when we signed him. So I was just like, God damn it!
Absolutely.
So yeah, but I seriously, I would rather have that guy than Gavin Sheets. He's not good, and that's why teams didn't trade for him because they see it too.
In 88 plate appearances, he has 19 strikeouts and 5 walks. It's not a great ratio.
He's a negative WAR player right now. I mean, what value does Gavin Sheets bring the White Sox?
That left-handed depth. That left-handed power bat, and
that they've always been looking for. Still can't find it.
I guess this is what I have to say. When Eloy is healthy, when he's revved up and ready to go, what are you going to do about Gavin Sheets? Because he turned on home run mode.
Listen, if he starts hitting home runs, so be it. I hope he proves me wrong 100,000%. If he hits 200 with 40 home runs, I'll take that. That's literally like a Joey Gallo, and I like Joey Gallo. Not to be confused with Joey Callow from My Cousin Vinny. I don't know if you even know what that is.
I like that reference. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. I'm surprised you even know what that movie is. It was pre 2000. I mean, it was I think it was in the 80s. But if you can get a guy like Joey Gallo, right, and that's what Gavin Sheets can turn into with, a decent OBP with a lot of home runs and RBIs, fine. I just don't see it. That's just my opinion on Gavin Sheets. I mean, never been a fan of him at all.
I mean, you're going to option him down at this point? Like, what are your other options? I mean, Eloy gets healthy. You got to send somebody down. Mm-hmm. Is it Gavin Sheets then? That's what you're saying?
I mean, who else could it be? I mean, Eloy comes up. Is Mendick down yet?
I think so.
Is he? No. I don't think Danny. I think Danny Mendick's still on the team. Yeah, because they said a couple days ago, the White Sox said, they tweeted out Danny Mendick for Larry Garcia straight up. And I just thought that was really funny. But it was, you should probably send down Danny Mendick first. I mean, you have Larry Garcia, Josh Harrison that can play the infield. You got Moncada now. I mean, if you have Larry Garcia, you really don't need a Danny Mendick.
I mean, that's my point here. The fact that I'm even questioning that Danny Mendick's on the 26 man right now. It's got to be him first.
It's got to be.
Speaking of bad on base percentage, and so actually, funny enough, his OPS plus is higher than Gavin Sheets.
Of course it is.
Just that again, nice sample size here of 23 at bats.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just like another Danny Mendick guy. The true grit. I don't give a crap. Give me good players. I don't care that this guy was drafted in the 26th round and that he's made his way up to the majors. Go to the Orioles for that. I don't need him on the White Sox,
Good point.
So my point is, Eloy comes up, Gavin Sheets probably stays, but then, who do you left with then in the outfield? You got Engel as your fourth outfielder. You have Leary as your infielder. You got Reese McGuire. Who's the fourth bench guy then? Because it's usually 4, I think. I don't even know. I mean, it would be Gavin Sheets. Yeah.
Oh,
it'd be Gavin. Yeah. So you have Gavin Sheets. So then when pitching comes back, and I know we were gonna talk about that a little bit too, right? So, I mean, when pitching comes back, Lance Lynn, right? Who goes down? Cueto when he comes up. Who goes down?
You DFA Keuchel and send down Tanner Banks. That would be my move.
I think Ryan Burr's got to go.
Ryan Burr is not good either. That's for sure.
Go. He is not good. Not good at all. I'm sorry. Yeah. Not a good reliever. Especially you have Joe Kelly. If you have Matt Foster pitching the way he is and Jose Ruiz, proving to our point, Rick Hahn's an idiot for spending a lot of money on relief pitching. But if you have those guys, you don't need a Ryan Burr. You don't need Tanner Banks. Literally just keep Cueto and Keuchel then.
Yeah. Well, on top of that too, you've got Joe Kelly. Don't forget about Joe Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, he did not look good in his second outing.
I'm not worried about him.
But I'm not either. And I think that goes to show you that this bullpen, even when you didn't need to go out and sign Joe Kelly, because this bullpen was good already without Joe Kelly. Kendall Graveman, I love the Kendall Graveman edition. He's been very, very good. I don't know if he's being utilized properly, though.
No, he's not being used. You can't be utilized if you're not being used.
I mean, he has pitched 15.1 innings. That's a decent amount.
It is, but at the wrong times. Right?
Correct. And that's why I'm saying he's not being utilized properly. I mean, I reflect back on Monday. I know that Graveman was quote unquote unavailable according to Tony. But how is somebody that just had a couple days rest unavailable if they're healthy? Especially in a game like that.
That just goes along with, I think that's where Tony's kind of messed up this year is bullpen management, which was a problem last year, and lineups. I know, excuse me, we all make fun of lineups and stuff like that all the time, and everybody's complaining, but what are we doing here? You know, Larry Garcia batting second and third. Come on.
It's bad.
You know, like, if you see Jose Abreu struggling, he's 0 for 18, why is he still batting third? Put Luis third. Put Vaughn fourth when he's back. He's back today. Give Jose a little bit of a breather, you know, when other guys, younger guys are hitting. Jose's not going to always be your third hitter. Pujols wasn't always, you know, when he got older, he started going down the lineup, right? So I don't know what they're doing at. You know, I was fine with Jose batting third the past couple of years, but this year it's like maybe he does bat fifth. Maybe when Eloy's back up, he bats sixth or maybe even seventh. You know, I mean, I would be okay with that even, you know, where you have like a Tim, Yohan, Robert, Eloy Grandal, Vaughn, and then Jose with Pollock and then Harrison. That would be a good lineup, I think, if Jose's your seventh batter.
For sure. Well, I love that you brought up Yasmani and you had him right there in that rundown batting fifth, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Jose's been not good, but Yasmani has been.
We're not going to slander this man.
And I don't want to slander him, but I want to know what's going on.
I mean, he did this last year, right? What did he bat in April last year? I think everybody was complaining because he was batting like 191 and his OBP was low and he wasn't hitting home runs. I mean, it looks bad this year, and his OPS plus is down a lot, you know, and it doesn't look good right now, but I'm not seriously worried about this guy. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't have I don't have too much worry about him at all. I mean,
it just I know like his on base percentage was at least around like 320, 330, maybe 340 last year when he was struggling. So right now he's under 3.
So I'm looking at it. By the end of April last year, he was at a 294 OBP.
Okay. And then the end of May, he was
back up to like 385.
Okay, there we go.
And then he got hurt, you know, and then he was back. But like, so I mean, maybe he picks it up, you know, but we need him bad because that bat between, you know, the walks, which you're seeing a lot more from him. His walks are starting to go up a little bit, but we need to see some power out of that man. You know, some clutch hits, not just strikeouts or ground outs to, you know, second base on a shift. So,
absolutely.
He's your highest paid player.
Yeah. God, it just the veterans. The veterans are killing me this year. You know, I mean, Tim stepping it up, awesome. Luis getting hot, especially when the White Sox need him. You know, when no one else is around.
Yohan Moncada comes back.
Yohan Moncada's coming back, or he has come back, and he's coming back pretty well so far. Andrew Vaughn, absolutely incredible so far.
Yes.
I mean, who could ever imagine trading this guy? Like,
I was just gonna get into that.
Wow. I mean, what idiot would ever want to trade Andrew Vaughn, right?
For Frank Montas, right? I don't know. No, I don't know.
Frankie Montas is good though.
For Andrew Vaughn, is he good? Exactly. Yeah.
So I know that was my hot take that hasn't settled well.
No, but to your point, the veterans suck this year. Pollock sucks. Abreu sucks. Grandal sucks this year. Harrison, atrocious, right? I mean,
I don't even consider him in the. I never expected much out of Josh Harrison.
You expect a good defense, smart base running, but you expected him to hit better than what he's doing now. It's pretty bad. So,
woof.
Yeah, the veterans definitely need to step up. But if you're going to be 15-16 and you're struggling and you're asking yourself why, and if the question is the veterans aren't hitting, I think you can be, and I think that's why Sox fans are panicking but not done yet, because they still have that okay, they're going to figure it out, right? I mean, they have historically. I like to go by trends, right? Those guys historically get better by around nowish, end of May towards June. So
for sure.
But if they don't, we're screwed.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. I hope you're right. I because right now, then again too, I think I've got recency bias in my head, being at the ballpark the last couple of days and seeing how bad they've been, how much the Yankees have just absolutely given it to them.
It's great. I'm going the next 2 days, so thanks for saying that. I'm so excited to go.
It's all right, baby. We'll be there together tonight. So,
yeah.
I mean, put this on a scale here from 1 to 10, Cary.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you freaking out? 10 being just absolutely done watching baseball for the rest of the year.
I'm at about what their record is. I'm at about a 5 or 6, right? I'm teetering, right? I'm okay, I'm still not worried because we're going to get Eloy back. We're going to get Lynn back, right? Giolito's going to be back in a couple days. Hopefully Cueto comes up and pitches better than Dallas, which I just hate that I'm hoping for. I'm not freaking out yet. I mean, my tweets will say otherwise with me just bitching about oh, here we go, typical Sox game, because that's just how it is right now. But I'm not okay, fuck this, I'm done. I'm not even gonna watch them. I'm done going to games. I'm still at the point where it's I'm gonna go to the games. I'm still gonna watch every game, right? So I'm not totally out yet. I'm not freaking out like our boy Sammy Davis, who was at a 10 before the season even started, right? I mean, that man's gonna have a heart attack because of baseball and the White Sox. So I'm not drastic like him, and I'm not our boy Alex Rude, who's at a 2, probably oh yeah, they're gonna be just fine. I don't have that in my brain to be oh, they're gonna be just fine. I'm at a 5 or 6.
For sure. I'm absolutely with you. That's exactly how I feel. I probably, and that's what's the problem with the recency bias too. Mm-hmm. If you asked me on Monday afternoon where I was at, I was probably yeah, I'm at a 2.5, 3. Yeah.
Coming off the win streak.
Then Monday happened, and I was all right, we're definitely at a 4. And then, Yankees, 5. So yeah, I think I'm 5 right down the middle as well. We see eye to eye usually on most things when it comes to kind of the
grand scheme of things.
Yes, the grand scheme of things, exactly. Yeah. And the tenor of the ball club.
Yeah, so, just not trading Andrew Vaughn.
Exactly. All good things come in 3s, Cary. So I want you to run through your head right now and give me 3 things that the White Sox absolutely need in order to be a successful team the rest of the year. 3 things that need to change.
You got me at the rest of the year. I was going to say the first thing, GM. But I hate that guy. 3 things, I think. Health. That's the number one thing, right? Health. I mean, Steve Stone said it. If they're fully healthy, that blowhard.
It's the Kenny Williams way, baby.
Yeah, what does Beefloaf always tweet out? Kenny Williams way, basically the White Sox way, basically stay healthy, and it's just like a funny picture of Kenny. I mean, but that's true. I mean, 05 they were fully healthy, right? And they were good. 2021 they weren't healthy. 2020 they were more healthy, and they were a little bit better, right? They tailed off at the end there, right? Because I think that was like their first time being like a real team, But health, that's the first thing they need is just get everybody back. Stop lunging at first base, stop making stupid plays and just stay healthy, okay? The second would be, I think, confidence. They need confidence because that's going to bring more fun and energy. I don't think they started the season and I was just like, this team's going to be the team. You start 8-2. That losing streak, I still feel like they have that ingrained in their brains, right? Because they make so many just mental errors, right? So confidence. And then the third thing, they need a DH, a true DH. Like, how many times have we said this? They need to make a trade for a power hitting guy that's not named Gavin Sheets, right? I mean, I know you like Vaughn and we like Vaughn and you'll off and you have Eloy, but they need to trade maybe for maybe not a DH, maybe a power hitting second baseman, or I don't know what they need, but they need somebody better than what they have.
All right, so let me ask you then, if they're going to make that trade, if you are Teflon Han himself and you are making that move, who is getting traded on your end? Who are you getting rid of? And what are you getting in return?
Well, you have to start with our shitty farm system that Teflon Han, built up again, which he said it would be a steady franchise, which it's gone back to what it was, right? You're talking who's even the White Sox top prospect right now? I mean,
Colson.
Okay, so you're starting with him, right? I mean, you're definitely starting with Colson Montgomery. He's in your trade because if you want to make for an impact bat, you're trading him. There's no way they're trading Oscar Colas. And I don't see them trading Jose Rodriguez, but you're starting at Colson Montgomery and Yolke, who's not even that good. They got some problems, right? There's not too much to really trade from. So you're probably thinking of, like a Colson Montgomery, Gavin Sheets type combo. Maybe Jake Berger's thrown in there because he's shown that he can hit MLB pitching. He just needs probably more time. So you're probably thinking of those type of players, depending on what guys want. Or, you go younger, the West Caths of the world, the guys like Jared Kelly who are 20 years old, right? You're maybe trading those type of guys too, because that seems like what the league is going for is those guys that are like under 20.
Yeah, well, that's what makes Colson so valuable too.
Yeah,
he's like what 19 years old.
Yeah, and he's hitting well down, in the minors, so that's good
for sure. And you would do this for who? Who are some guys that you're thinking?
You're gonna look at probably your pending free agents for next year, right? Even though what's it called? Rick Hahn likes to say we don't like to, get guys that are not, lengthy or whatever. Like that's not where you're at right now. You have to go get I don't even know who it is, but you're looking at your best guys are on an expiring contract for second base. You ready for this? This is a huge list of guys. Okay.
Probably atrocious too.
It is Gene Segura and Colton Wong. That's your best options.
There you go, Gene Segura, the guy who Rick Hahn almost had for
for Kimbrel. Yeah. And if not, then what you're doing is these guys are all in player options, but there's Correa. He's not leaving. They're not getting traded. He's not getting traded here. Right. Trey Turner, not happening. Didi Gregorius, not good. Elvis Andrews, old and dead. Xander Bogaerts, not leaving. So what are they left with, right?
Yeah. Gene Segura has been really good this year too.
Yeah, of course he has. So, are you surprised?
A little bit. But I mean, as
I'm
good as
not.
he's been, I should say.
The guy's
I'm
been pretty
not
good the
surprised he's
past few
good.
years.
Basically a 370 OBP.
Yeah.
And OPS plus that's well above league average.
Yeah.
Even for a
Which
guy
is what it was
who
last year.
prides himself in being a contact hitter. Yeah.
It's just funny to me. So
thanks, Rickon.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty vocal about it. I'm not a Rick Hahn guy. I mean, this offseason put me over the edge. Like Manny Machado and Zach Wheeler and, those guys made me be like, okay, Rick, whatever. Maybe you are hamstringed by Jerry. But then, I saw this year and I was like, no, homeboy's just not good. Not a good GM.
Right. To be honest with you, I think the performance of veteran guys is just going to be the X factor for the White Sox moving forward. They need three. I'm going to say three of those guys to just start hitting their weight, hitting what they're worth. So whether that's Yasmani, Jose, AJ Pollock, even Josh Harrison, it will, and I'll even lump Aloy in there too, because
he wasn't hitting well either.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who the White Sox said this is one of our cornerstone pieces to our franchise. Now, we're giving up Jose Quintana. Well, I mean that's still a great trade for the White Sox. I mean, Dylan Cease and Aloy coming back from that is incredible. So you got to give credit where credit's due there for Rick Hahn. But Aloy, I mean, can't stay healthy and has all the pop in the world, but really hasn't shown it outside of his rookie year.
I mean, his rookie year is the only year he's played more than 100 games. I mean, 2020, they can only play, 60, and he played 55 of those. He played the whole year, but, besides that, he hasn't really played baseball.
Right.
He hasn't really proven himself. I mean, his rookie year, he had 31 home runs, but besides that, he hasn't hit more than 14, right?
Yeah.
So when he was starting this year, he wasn't even doing well. So this guy, I mean, and he's on a big contract. I mean, he's 6-year, $43 million. I mean, he's on it. He's not like it's not like he's not making money. So someone like him, he's got to improve too. Stay healthy for that guy.
Absolutely. And Lance Lynn's performance this year, I think, is an X factor too, because you're getting awesome stuff out of Cease and Kopech, but and Giolito, right? But 4-5 right now is an absolute gaping hole. I don't trust Vince Velasquez. I obviously don't trust Dallas Keuchel. I have no idea if we're even going to have Johnny Cueto in a White Sox uniform. Right now, I think Lynn being a good pitcher, he doesn't need to be Cy level, Cy Young level, but as long as he is good, then you've got 4 starting pitchers that are going to carry you through.
Yes, and I will say, the difference, I think, going into the playoffs, if we even make it next year, is I think an elevated Giolito, an elevated Cease, and Kopech as your 1, 2, 3 makes I think you go in with them this year and their confidence level, and if they're pitching the way they are now, going to the playoffs, way different story than last year.
Fair.
But they have to make it first. They can't be under 500, So, but I'm trying to look at the White Sox schedule this year, and just trying to see where is that pocket of games that they are going to have a Yankee stretch, right, of 17 games. What they win 17 out of 19.
17
games.
Out of 19. Yep.
And I'll tell you, it's not happening in May with the rest of their schedule, because after the Yankees, you got the Royals, who I think they'll be fine, but then you got the Yankees again. You got the Red Sox. Cubs are trash, but then you got the Blue Jays. So I mean, this could be a rough month, and then June's not getting any better with the Rays, the Dodgers, and the Rangers aren't as bad as they were. I mean, they'll beat the Rangers, but I mean, I can't even. I'm looking at the schedule. I can't even find this pocket of games. I mean, maybe June, but you still have the Angels and the Astros too, and we know how that goes.
So right now, White Sox are valued minus 130 to win the Central.
Yeah.
Are you still taking that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I would take that. I mean, I'm looking now, and I think July might be that good month with everybody healthy. Because, the best team you play is the Giants, and that's the first 3 games, which, screw Tommy and the Giants. But, you have the Twins, Tigers, Guardians, again, the Twins and the A's. That could be that month, where the White Sox are like, oh, this is that team, and August looks really good too. The best team you play is the Astros, and the second best team is the freaking Tigers. So maybe they just have a reverse schedule like last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you look at September, the Rockies, the Royals, the Twins, the A's, the Mariners, the Tigers. They don't play good teams in September either. So maybe things are just going to be rough now, and towards June, July, that's when the Sox actually are the Sox again, because they get to bum slay again.
Yeah, they're gonna have to buckle down. This is gonna be a rough stretch. Now that you're talking about it,
yeah,
I'm getting myself mentally prepared that it's going to be a
bad.
really, really rough stretch for the next, I don't know, 6 weeks,
probably month. Yeah, probably, because you're talking, like I said, you got the Yankees again, the Red Sox, Blue Jays, Dodgers, Rays, Blue Jays again, and then the Angels and Astros.
Yeah.
So besides the Tigers and the Orioles that month, you're looking at probably another below 500 month, which, is it too far? Is it too, are you down too much by then? So that's what scares me. So,
right.
Maybe it's just like, let's see what the record is to get to July,
All right.
get 500 by July.
So give me, as we wrap this thing up, because we're coming up on an hour, Cary, and that's our sweet spot.
Of course.
Give me your predictions for how the rest of the season is going to go for the White Sox and how they're going to end up at the end. I saw a projection. I don't know if it was Pacoda or another projection scale that had the White Sox at 84 wins and still winning the Central.
Mm-hmm.
First off, do you think that's possible? And then I want to hear what your take is on the rest of the year.
Absolutely, that's possible. This division is horrible. The Twins have not realized who they are yet with their pitching, because Sonny Gray is your ace, and Josh Winder, and I don't even
Chris Paddock.
He's hurt though for like.
Oh, did he get hurt again?
Yeah. He's probably hurt. They're going to come back to life, right? You've seen it. Their pitching's like let up 11 runs, 12 runs. I think 8 to the Guardians, which Sox did too. But you know what I'm saying. So I think that you can win it with 84. My prediction is the Sox still win the division with 88 wins. They get worse. Wow. They were worse than they were last year, which I hope gets Rickon fired, which it won't happen. But 88 wins, they make the playoffs, depending on who they play, if it's the Yankees or if it's the Astros. Same thing as last year. So that's just, it's sad, but, that's the White Sox fan in me. So,
yeah.
What about you?
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Hot take coming in, because Tommy's not here. Somebody's got to fill in.
Somebody's got to do it, right?
This team is the Atlanta Braves of last year. Slow start, looking rough mid-year, finally turning around, and just carry that momentum all the way through.
So they've got like a World Series.
They've got the talent to do it. They've got the talent to win a pennant. And I think with the way you talked me through this schedule, May is going to be rough. June is going to be rough.
Worse.
They're going to have that stretch of games in California where they've got the Angels and then they've got the Giants. Rough. After that, second week, I'm going to say the second week in July, they're going to turn it around.
Yeah, I can totally see that. The second week of July, you're looking at
All-Star break. So the All-Star break is going to be that. It's going to be that point where they just flip a switch.
Yeah, because after the Giants, you're looking at the Twins, Tigers, Guardians, Twins, Guardians, Rockies, A's.
Yep.
I think they can actually lose only like 2-3 games that whole month.
That could absolutely happen.
So,
and yes, good Sons of Honarchy supporter here, Alex Salazar, said 2019 Nationals question mark. Absolutely. Even more so. 2019 Nationals vibe, especially if the pitching is as good as we expect them to be. Like if Kopech continues to be this good, if Cease continues to develop, if Lynn is, even suitable. I'm saying Lynn is the 4. And General Geo is General Geo.
Yeah.
That's nasty. I like it.
I like it. I like the take.
Well, Cary, as we wrap this thing up, any final thoughts? I am very grateful that you were able to join me. This is a blast. This is fun. I appreciate you doing this.
Final thoughts? Tommy, Wellington, when you listen to this, just know Wellington Castillo is not even in the MLB anymore. Carlos Rodon is on the Giants, so he's not on your favorite team anymore.
Well, he is on his favorite team.
I know, I hate that. Nick Madrigal, I will admit Nick Madrigal sucks. Okay, so there you go, Tommy. There you go. You got that. But final thoughts. Thanks for letting me get on this. I love coming out with you guys. Steve, you're the homie. I'll see you tonight. But keep on doing your thing. Keep on supporting you guys, and that's all. I'm sure I'll be on one more time, probably multiple. So we'll see.
Absolutely. Cary, in Han we trust? Question mark.
Nope. Can't do it anymore.
Amazing. Thank you, Cary, once again.
Steve.
Appreciate it. Pleasure as always. Everyone else, peace. We'll see y'all next week with Tommy back on the Zoom airwaves. All right, this isn't Zoom. This is StreamYard.
Peace. See you guys.